U.S. President Donald Trump's top aide has confirmed plans to massively escalate immigration arrests across the United States. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller told Fox News that ICE will target at least 3,000 arrests daily, a number far above current operations. Miller said that the goal is to deport what he called Biden illegals who entered the country over the last 4 years. This plan would triple ICE's daily arrest rate compared to the early days of Trump's second term in office. Notably, ICE is currently averaging over 1,000 arrests daily, already more than double the rate under former President Joe Biden. From January 20th to March 10th, ICE made over 32,000 arrests, averaging 656 per day, according to official figures. The agency now holds nearly 49,000 people in custody, exceeding the number of beds funded by Congress. To meet Trump's demands, ICE is asking for more bed space and a massive funding increase from Capitol Hill. Homeland Security Secretary Noem is reportedly coordinating the push with Miller behind the scenes. The increased pressure on agents comes as border crossing numbers have plummeted in Trump's first 4 months. It signals an increasingly aggressive approach to making arrests in non-border communities nationwide.
We're going to treat everybody the same. Regardless of who they are, the laws will apply equally, and we will have the scales of justice back in place, but also understands that this may be difficult for some families, that families will be impacted, that some that have been in our country for many, many years, and we'll be able to stand there with the perspective of a wife and a mom and a grandma and communicate that to people, that we're going to work to make sure that we're not picking and choosing winners, but we're going to do this in a way that makes sense, and we're going to work with the American people to give their country back. I'm thankful he trusted me with that, and the mission of this department is to protect the country and to secure it within its borders and the homeland with integrity and with honesty. And what that means is we're going to be transparent. We're going to talk to you different than we ever have before. We're going to be more accountable. When you say things to me, we're going to run the traps on it and make sure you're telling me the truth. We're going to evaluate your contracts. We're going to make sure you're not taking more money of the taxpayers that isn't supposed to be spent, but that it's going to be deployed in a much more efficient way, and it's going to benefit the men and women who are on the front lines, and that we're going to have their backs finally. We're letting them do their jobs. And what I'd like to do is have every law enforcement officer in this room stand up. CBP, ICE, HSI, Coast Guard, law enforcement, federal, local, and state, stand up and let us give you a round of applause and thank you for all that you've done to protect our country. President Trump wants me to thank you for what you do, and he wants you to be safe, and he wants to make sure that you know that he will help you do your jobs, and is incredibly grateful that you still want to do your jobs after what he says was the poor leadership and the train wreck of Joe Biden hitting this country. So we're going to fix it and help you do your jobs, and I hope that's encouraging to all of you. During one of my trips down to the border when I was still serving as governor, I remember one of our Border Patrol officers and agents saying to me, listen, there's just no consequences for crossing our border. And without consequences, there is no enforcement and there is no law. The law doesn't matter. And that impacted me in such a way that it affects every way that I do this job today. There has to be consequences for breaking our laws. And there has to be consequences, and there has to be enforcement and prosecution. We are going to use every single tool that we have, and I'll run through a couple of those tools that I think are going to change the way that we operate in this country, and that it'll be ways that industry can partner with us. We're using new technologies in ways that we never have before. We're going to deploy new technologies not only at the border, but at our ports of entry and in our interior to make sure that we're sharing information with other agencies at all levels, and we're also going to be sharing more information, biometrics, DNA testing, and being much more efficient, working to get everybody more authorities that they need to be able to take action in every single interdiction that we have. That all of our agents can go in there and deal with what they face, whether it may be drugs or trafficking or breaking of laws that would be impacting a community in different ways that they just weren't empowered to do before. And we'll be deploying and partnering with industry to be more efficient and accountable to make sure that we're making the best use of our time. The CBP One app is one app that was deployed during the last presidential administration that we have completely changed. It was interesting, I did ask the federal government if we took the CBP One app and shut it down on day one, which we did do, how long would it take us to develop an app that would deport people and allow people to self-deport? And the federal government told me, boy, that's probably going to take us 4 to 6 months. So I went to Elon and his guys, and they said, we can do that in 24 hours. And in 24 hours, we had the CBP Home app up that allows individuals to go in there and send them messages from the federal government that says, if you are here illegally now, go home. And soon it will be that you can get on that app, and it'll be not only should you go home right now, but we will help you buy your plane ticket and your travel documents so that you can go today. We are, for the first time since World War II, enforcing the Alien Registration Act. The Alien Registration Act says that if you're in this country for longer than 30 days illegally, you must register with the federal government. And when those 30 days are up, and if you haven't done that, now we can criminally charge you. And we can go in and take you out of your home and deport you out of this country. And every day that you overstay, you are subject to up to $1,000 fine, and that you will be in violation of that. And when we deport you, you may never be allowed back into the United States again. But if you self-deport, and if you leave now and you use that app and you work with us to take you home, you may get the chance to come back and avoid those fines. If you think about people that have been in this country for years, that could be financially devastating to them with those fines and consequences. And that is why we are encouraging people to make sure that we're sending the message out that they need to register, self-deport, and get the opportunity to come back again. We'll have to definitely build out our immigration judges and our immigration courts to facilitate that, but that is something President Trump is definitely focused on making sure we have the resources to do. We also are working hard on enforcing the Alien Enemies Act, which I'm sure you saw the Supreme Court made a decision on yesterday. And we are going to continue to use that to deport the worst of the worst out of our communities and make sure they're facing consequences in their home countries for the actions that they've taken to be involved in gangs that are now foreign terrorist organizations, thanks to the designation that President Trump has given us. We'll continue to go after those with final removal orders and make sure that they are taken out and flown out of this country. And I'm so thankful to our fantastic Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who has facilitated this with dozens of countries and making sure we have the travel documents we need to get people home. We need the infrastructure and the detention centers to hold people, but we are sweeping up individuals, and we're getting that infrastructure in place and putting this operation on steroids so that we can do it faster and make sure that we're doing our job more effectively for President Trump.